Okay, this is now the 5 Minute Tarot for the 19th of July 2017, and I've had a slight change of plan because today and tomorrow are like part one and part two of a little exercise that you might find useful because you can use cards to understand better what words mean and what they are or what they're about. And this can be names of people as well as concepts and ideas. And it'll also get you to become more comfortable with major trumps and how it's not so much that there's a fixed meaning, but more how you can make sense of the card that comes up to answer a question. So that's I think it's quite useful. I forget what started me thinking this, but it really doesn't matter. I'll tell you later what started me off. But anyway, so I read this article about the tarot, and the fellow, I think it was called The Truth About the Tarot, and he explained what he thought it was. And I thought, okay, we've got the tarot, but I'm thinking Tarot. So instead of, I'm leaving out the, and just thinking of the word tarot, what actually are we dealing with when we're dealing with the tarot, Tarot? And C.C. Zane, who wrote the Church of Light material and produced the Church of Light tarot deck, gives what he says are the correct correlations between the letters of the English alphabet and the major trumps. I mean, it may work in French and German because we've got the same alphabet, but what I'm looking at now is English, and I know how it works with English. You're going to get a different result with other European languages, but I have to leave that for the moment. So Tarot is T is the Fool, A is the Magician, R is Judgment, O is the Tower, and then T is the Fool again. So I if anybody wants, I can give you a list probably tomorrow if I hear from you, which gives you which letter of the alphabet goes with which major trump. So what we can do is, instead of thinking Tarot, we can substitute major trumps, and we can get an idea of what tarot is, or what it's about, or what you can do with it, or what its purpose is, and so on. So we've got a sequence, Tarot. So we've got the Fool, the Magician, Judgment, the Tower, and the Fool again. And you can look at it as a sequence. So when it comes to the tarot, you begin with, you're naive, you don't know anything, that's the Fool. Then you have ideas and you'd want to create something with the Magician. This brings freedom with the Judgment card. And there's all sorts of different meanings and suggestions for different cards. So you can do this 1,000 times and have a slightly different story each time, or a radically different story each time, depending on what you do. So we've got, you're naive, you don't know anything, you have ideas and you want to create from the Magician. This frees you because you're no longer in the coffin with the Judgment card, but it's followed by the Tower. So this change, the freedom that you experience with the Judgment card changes your relationships with other people. So it's a bit like you can't go back. And in Thelma and Louise, I always liked the line when Gina Davis, after she's robbed the store, and she says to Thelma, who is Susan Sarandon, something crossed over in me, I just can't go back. Meaning she can't go back to her old life with the husband and the boring life. So it's a bit like when you have a moment of inspiration or an insight because of your studies of the tarot, you can't really go, it changes your relationship with other people, or it maybe changes how you look at them or what you see when you look at them. And it can, for some people, it's upsetting because maybe you realize that the people you live with just don't get you. and so you need to then find new people. So this is because it's the tower, the people falling out the tower, and then you're the fool again. But this time, the fool's different, because maybe in the beginning you don't know much, but you go through certain experiences and then you end up as the fool again. Only this time the fool knows something, but it's time for a new beginning, time for a fresh start. So you can go, you can take any word like a name. John, John, is the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, Justice, and the Temperance card. So that sequence of cards describes my cycle, or the cycle of anybody called John. And you've got a certain experiences, certain lessons. So I'm dealing with the Wheel of Fortune. So I've heard ought to expect sudden change from the Wheel of Fortune, let's say. And then separation from other people, falling out with other people. H for Justice, get yourself together, get balanced, and then begin to make something different from the different ingredients. Okay, so you can take a word or a name and you can have a sequence, 1, 2, 3, whatever the letters happen to be. But because there are 5 letters in the tarot, I'm looking at the T, the A, the R, the O, and the T, and I put it in like a triangular shape, which means we've got T at the beginning and the end. So we've got the Fool at the beginning is empty, we can say, but the Fool, F-O-O-L, at the end is F-U-L-L. The Fool is full. Because you've been through a certain experience to get to that last T, then it's time to begin again. Only this time, and it reminds me of that idea that people sometimes mention, that the more you know you don't know anything. Or so that the more you discover, the more you know, you're more aware of the fact that there are empty areas in your understanding. So in that way, you know a lot, but at the same time, you know enough that you don't know anything. And that can be the T at the end of the T-A-R-O-T. So at this point, when we look at the Fool now, we're not thinking the Fool is naive and doesn't know anything. Because of considering T-A-R-O-T, we now know that sometimes the Fool is knowledgeable and knows everything and knows an awful lot. But because it's the Fool, you have to begin again. So you can maybe take what you know and apply it and make things better. Or maybe you take what you know and you apply it in a new area of study, let's say. Or maybe you know a lot, but you've got to forget it. And rather than think that you can apply what you already know to your current situation, maybe you understand that you can't. And it's time to leave it all behind, leave the past behind, and begin a whole new, fresh, different type of experience. So by considering T-A-R-O-T and considering the T at the beginning and the T at the end, you begin to see or have different understanding and different ideas about the Fool card. And all you've done is look at a word and ponder on it or wonder about it. So that's me finished for today. But your homework, so to speak, is we've got 3 other letters, A-R-O. So I'll look at these 3 letters tomorrow, but in the meantime, what would you do? So we've got the Fool at the beginning and the end. We've got the Magician, Judgment, and the Tower. What kind of story would you see in these 3 cards? Or what kind of story would you tell if somebody got these 3 cards one after the other in a reading? Or if you think of the R as the middle, and you've got the A on one side, the O on the other, but the R is like the balance point. So we've got the Judgment up above, and we've got renewal and freedom. But we've got the Magician on one side and the Tower on the other. Maybe you go this way, but maybe you can come back the other way as well. So the Judgment card is in its own way balancing the Magician and the Tower. So what does the Judgment card have to do to get the best out of both the Magician, who has ideas, but the Tower, which is different because it's destruction of things and it's a lightning flash? So what would you do with not so much the two T's, but with ARO? What kind of sense would you make of the Magician, the Judgment, and the Tower? Or what kind of story would you tell for those three cards? And it doesn't have to be in sequence. It can be that you just see what you come up with and what ideas you get from those three cards, and I'll give you an answer tomorrow, and we can take it from there. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.